All right, y'all, it's LaVinci, Divine Word Order. You already know the channel. I just want to tap into this, this programming, this conditioning that they got going on through the mass media. People love this drama. They love these celebrities so much they can't detach from it. I went through that stage, but I had to realize the truth. I had to cut my perception out of the picture and realize it's the truth. The truth deleted my perception. So that's all we standing on with this channel, man. It's just all about truth. We just want to bring truth. We want to align people with the truth. It ain't about aligning with no damn perceptions. We all going to align with the truth. So we're going to get into these people telling you about how they programming and basically condition, everyone through these screens. It's been going on for a long time. But we love it so much. We just want to stay in this matrix. We want to stay in it. We want to fight to stay in it. We're going to attack people that's lashing out against certain artists, celebrities, and news stations. And, these people that's connected in this matrix, they're going to lash out because they don't have an identity outside of these sources. This is what fuels them. I'm so glad I pulled up out of that, man. Life is good. So we're going to get into this, so we can expose these rats. They exposing themselves. You ain't even got to expose them. Let's get it.
Sometimes the public overseas. Disinformation is almost always by definition about things that the average person has no separate personal knowledge of, otherwise it couldn't really work. I mean, you can't fool the people you're talking about. You can fool the other people who don't know about it. You're not trying to fool the people you're talking about. The simplest example is during the Vietnam War. There was a massive bombing campaign, and the U.S. was bombing Cambodia. President Nixon and Secretary of State Kissinger repeatedly made public statements that we are not dropping bombs in Cambodia. Well, you couldn't fool the Cambodians who looked up and saw the bombs fall in their backyard. They knew you were bombing Cambodia. But the American people, by and large, accepted these statements as truth, and in fact, that was a disinformation campaign that was later we're talking about things that the public has no separate knowledge of. And it's also reinforced by the fact that the Americans generally tend to believe what their government tells them, to believe that government officials on all levels generally tell the truth. And that, if you have that absence of skepticism, it's a major plus for the disinformationists. And also, it's very, very unusual around the world, other than the United States. In most other countries, particularly in Europe, it's much more the opposite. People tend, on average, to be very skeptical of their government. If the Italian government issues a statement, the average Italian on the street will say it's probably a lie. Until you can prove to me otherwise that it's not a lie. Because governments lie. That's what they sort of expect them to do that, whereas Americans don't expect that. The average American would hear something from the government, or hear the news on television, and assumes that what they're hearing is the truth unless they're shown otherwise. They assume that almost nothing is ever a conspiracy. In Europe, it's very much the opposite. Anything happens, they tend to think it's a conspiracy unless you show them that it wasn't a conspiracy. After all, conspiracy just means, more than one person being involved in something. If you stop and think about it, almost everything significant that happens anywhere involves more than one person. Yet here, there is not a myth, really, but there's just an underlying assumption that most things are not
Okay, and he's letting you know right there what's really going on. People don't understand how this system is set up with this industry and whatnot. These artists aren't selling records no more like that. So they have to link them with companies like Netflix, Hulu, news stations like TMZ, which pumps them. It's a machine pumping them. They get movie deals, magazines, reality shows, interviews on certain stations. It's all a part of the illusion. They're all one. Why you think these artists getting specials and reality shows now? It's the norm because it's in the contracts. But I'll do a video on that one too. That's gonna be another video. But let's get to it.
In having this disinformation accepted. The other reason why it works, even though, as we know, there are some where there are people who know it's not true, some where they know you're lying about something. But another reason it works is that disinformation is very, very effective over time. The longer that you, where you are, can control the spin on the story, the more that spin becomes accepted as the absolute truth. And in this country, the government has a great deal of power and influence over that spin. Why is it so effective over time? Well, this is an area where
Good
I
question.
had to consult with other experts because it turns out really to be a neurological function. And that was supposed to explain to me by a professor at Harvard Medical School, and it has to do with the way the human brain remembers things, the way we learn things, the way we create patterns and associations and
cycles.
it's sort of like channels in the brain that when certain things trigger certain collateral thoughts.
Wow.
When you associate one thing with another over time, just the mention of the one brings the association of the other. What this sometimes means is that even when something is later exposed as a lie, if it was accepted as the truth for a long time, the exposure of it as a lie is not believed. It's in one ear and out the other. The best example that we know in my field is one that John Stockwell reported on. He was a CIA officer in Angola, for Angola. They were based, the CIA station was based in Congo. And when the Cuban troops were sent in to help the Angolans fight the South Africans during the early and mid-70s, the CIA's task was to try to discredit the Cubans and do whatever it could to make people around the world think it was a terrible thing that the Cubans were helping the Angolans. So Stockwell's group in Congo sat down and one guy says, let's think of something terrible we can say that the Cubans did. And another guy says, hey, why don't we say they're raping Angolan women? That'd be a great thing to say. The other guy says, terrific, and they call in their media experts. And they start sitting there at the desk of the CIA office and they start typing out these news stories about how a group of Cubans
CIA typing out news stories.
soldiers raped a bunch of Angolan women in some operation. And then they write story number 2, which is that the villagers got incensed and decided they didn't want the Cubans anymore and they didn't find the soldiers who did it and arrest them. Story number 3, the villagers captured the Cubans. Story number 4, they were tried and by a jury of the women victims and they were later executed with their own weapons. And they made a series of about 12 newspaper stories in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And with one phone call and one visit, it went over the wire services, it went into Europe, it went into the United States, it went around the world. And for about a 6-month period, there were all these stories about horrible Cuban rapes in Angola. And what that does is when you hear, the average person hears Angola,
Average person.
they'll think rape of the women.
You sheep.
If you hear rape of women, they'll think Angola, Cubans. If you hear Angola, they'll think Cubans, rape of the women. And these patterns build up so that becomes the truth embedded in
Years of conditioning.
years later, John Stockwell, who was the CIA, wrote a book exposing it, wrote a big op to the New York Times that I had the entire Cuba Angola story was a fabrication, and he sat there at the desk typing it. And the day after that story appeared, there were still 900 million people around the world who thought the phony story was true. Because when year after year after year you hear that something is the case, one story, one day saying, hey, the whole thing was a lie, and it doesn't register on the brain. It can't beat those patterns that have been built up. Let's go back now, take the example, let's go back now to the general area of intelligence, because all of this activity is useless unless there's a structure into which it fits and which it can be put out. We deal with the kind of structure of media operations that puts out this kind of information. How extensive is it? Yes, we have a lot of information about the CIA. We have a certain amount of information about the FBI, a certain amount about military intelligence. And the reason for this is because there were those congressional investigations that I mentioned before. There have been reports published, particularly from the Church Committee in the late 70s, where they published volume after volume describing the extent of media operations by the CIA and other agencies. The exact amounts of money that were being spent were not divulged by those initial reports because that was considered to be classified. The intelligence budgets are always classified, except at the same time, every few weeks you'll read something in the newspaper where they say the classified budget, which is approximately $25 billion, and so on and so on and so forth. So what we've learned from these reports is that the first thing was that about a third of the whole CIA budget went to media propaganda.
Wow, a third of that budget. You do the math.
How much would that be? We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Hundreds of millions to control you and how you think.
Together is according to all these reports that say it's secret, but it's about $25 to $30 billion a year. Now, a lot of that is high-tech stuff. Has nothing to do with what we're talking about, satellites and so on. But the stuff that goes to the CIA is several billion. And when you factor out overhead and things like that, you've got your operational amount. Most of the estimates suggest that hundreds of millions of dollars, close to $1 billion, are being spent every year by the United States.
Wow.
Propaganda. Now,
If that don't tell you nothing.
CIA, because it at least has been admitted in the past that they did do this stuff. They admit they do it now, except they said they don't do it within the United States, but they admit that that's part of what they do. The FBI is much harder to get figures for because they don't generally admit to conducting media operations, and unless until something gets exposed and they have to admit that particular operation, they deny to an extent where it's really hard to try and estimate how much money is being used by the FBI and by the military intelligence agency. But it's sort of clear that hundreds of millions of dollars a year are being spent by various aspects of the government on deliberately creating and spreading lies. Before we get into the specifics of media operations related to the Martin Luther King case, the James Earl Ray, can you give us, to finish the background, can you give us some idea of the influence that the CIA and the FBI had over the media? Yes, again, this was something that very specific figures came out in the 70s and 80s, and we don't know the precise figures today. We have no reason to think that they are significantly less than what came out. But when the Church Committee reported on CIA media operations, for example, beyond friends in the press, beyond having people who were just generally thought along similar lines, it turned out that they had thousands of journalists merely agents, not merely someone that could pass a story to the people who might have appeared to the outside world to be a reporter for CBS, was in fact a CIA employee getting a salary from the CIA, and that was repeated thousands of times all around the world. They also owned outright the CIA at that time, about 250 or more media organizations. That's wire services, newspapers, magazines, radio, TV stations all around the world that they owned outright. The actual shareholder of the company turned out to be some CIA fronts. Unfortunately, we did not name very many of these organizations because those that got named, of course, had to close down immediately. But it was learned that even things like the Rome Daily American, which is a major English language newspaper in Rome, for 20, 30 years have been owned by the CIA. This was published because the paper closed the next day. But most people didn't realize the extent of the intelligence media organization is fairly incredible. They sort of brag about it. When you read the books about the history of the CIA, one of the heroes was the first man in charge of media operations, a man named Frank Wisner, and they referred to his organization as the Mighty Wurlitzer. And there's this image of this guy sitting at one of the giant organs, with 17 keyboards, and you're playing this sort of like the Phantom of the Opera in that scene. And there was the guy running the CIA media operations all around the world. And he really was, because every single city of any size on Earth, he had some employee who was supposedly working for a newspaper or a magazine or a radio station or a wire service. And they could get stories anywhere. I think I just wanted to more specific examples. Yeah,
So y'all think y'all getting real news? They take these artificial stories, and when they get to the people, you got real emotion stirred up in it. You got people cussing each other out over these stories, believing in them. They sitting back laughing, just laughing, because we separated within ourselves and with them. So it's a lose-lose at the end of the day.
Actually, in an article that was published, written by a former CIA officer named James Woodcock, who was not in the propaganda division. He was in finance, but he was so amazed. He wrote
Propaganda nation.
He was stationed in Japan one time when there was a big debate raging there over whether nuclear-powered ships should be allowed to dock in Japanese ports. It's always been a very touchy issue, and at least since Hiroshima, it's been a very touchy issue in Japan. Even peaceful uses of nuclear power. And the U.S. line was to promote the doctrine of nuclear power ships because the U.S. had more and more of them. So they wanted the Japanese papers to editorialize in favor of this debate that was going on. And Jim said he looked and saw this guy at a nearby desk sit down and type, this is a CIA officer, employee of the U.S. government, type an editorial. And then waved goodbye to everybody, left the office. The next morning, that appeared as the editorial, the lead editorial in the largest newspaper in Japan. Now they didn't go to a friendly publisher and say, gee, we sort of like it if you could maybe do something a little bit favorable to this issue. They wrote the editorial, they handed it to the guy, and the next day, in Japanese, it appears in the paper. Another thing showing the influence here in this country was during the Vietnam War. I don't know, some people my age will remember, there was a Life magazine that had a cover picture of a North Vietnamese stamp that showed the Vietnamese shooting down American planes. And it showed U.S. planes with U.S. markings in bursts of flames and crashing and U.S. pilots being killed. And it was a pretty bizarre and gruesome set of postage stamps. And there was a whole story in there basically trying to give the line that the Vietnamese glorifying the killing of Americans, and they thought it was so great to kill Americans that they were putting it on their postage stamps. The only thing that was later learned is that these were not North Vietnamese stamps, they were CIA forgeries, had never been real stamps. And the CIA was able to have them appear on the cover of Life magazine.
You know why it was.
There's a whole division set up to keep track of journalists and reporters and magazines and newspapers to decide who could be counted on to write stories that the FBI wanted written, who would slant stories the way they want.
You hear it right there. Like, what else more proof do you need? You know, it's right in our faces. They create the drama, then they create the solution. And the whole time, the people are just outraged, fighting between each other and scared.
The question of whether these particular reporters were actually FBI employees, like so many of the CIA employees, is unclear. That's never been admitted by the government that the FBI actually took its own employees and had them get a job as a correspondent on a newspaper, let's say, whereas we know the CIA did that in many places. There's no reason to think they couldn't have done it, other than the fact that it hasn't yet been exposed. But in any event, there were significant pressures available to the FBI to use their friends, and the Church Committee report gives many examples, copies of memos from Hoover on down, where there'd be a thing attached and said, get this information to our friends at the Quarterly News Service, get this information to our friends at the Digest,
Yep.
this to our friendly AP reporter, and so on. And then, of course, they would show the clipping indicating that someone had gotten into their friends and then go over the wires over here in these stories.
The personality show. And they say if we can control these personalities, if we can pick the personalities that people will respond to, or we can cultivate these personalities, then we can stay in control of the machine. It went from them being able to successfully do that to somewhere along that line, artists or talented people, and the machine will be saying, we don't even have to cultivate personalities anymore. We can cultivate personas. So it went from culture to the cult of personality to the cult of persona. To get people to believe that so-and-so is this. To get spokespeople or representatives for a lifestyle
Exactly.
or an idea that they may not even subscribe to themselves.
Exactly.
They can sell it though. They can make it appealing to a mass of people. And there are great rewards for agreeing to do that. You know, it's gone from being, this is my art that reflects, this is my work that reflects my history, my personal life, my struggles, my ambitions, my dreams, to this is my persona as it is attached to a product or a lifestyle or something that you can buy.
Too intertwined, many of them.
And there
Loads of products.
are lots of, they reward you for it. If you just say, it has nothing to do with me, I'm just a model.
It's like
I
Crips.
put on the clothes, I stand in the pose, they pay me a check.
So it don't matter who you looking at. Cardi B, Beyonce, Jay-Z, all of these people are on a script. It's just a script. Like I said, these people have deals locked in with their contract with all of these media corporations. So we only look at one side of it, like, oh, they're just artists, and all of these stories are just things that's going on in their life. Not exactly. Wake up. Shit is scripted.
So what effect
I
does
know
that
it
have on the
hurt.
community?
Oh my God, if there's no voice of dissent, if there's no imagination, not even, let's just leave dissent alone. If there's no earnestness, if there's no truth in what artists and talented people do, if it's all about the gesture, then it's telling people there's no room for your imagination. There's no use being imaginative. Follow the rules.
And what about the individual in terms of the collective?
It's not about that. It's about conforming. And if you see someone who is a creative person doing that, then what energy might you have to criticize your local government or your state government? Or to just have any sort of opinion about what's going on around you in the world, to say, to use your common sense to say, well, that may be a prevailing practice, but that doesn't mean that it's useful or necessary. If you see people who are supposed to be imaginative people, creative people, not being that, I think that the long-term effect is that the masses in general just find themselves being less creative, less imaginative, and creativity and imagination are integral in creating change in the world. I mean, you know, you need that spark.
Yeah.
If he could do that, then I could do it.
So we get back to the rest. Do you think MTV and hip-hop are kind of got a deal then? Because you were wondering about that, weren't you? I mean, has it got to the stage where actually...
Yeah, I mean, is it organized?
The corporations have successfully bribed many charismatic personalities and figures with money and flattery. And a lot of times it's not even with money. What they're really bribing them with is a perception of social access. You are invited into an exclusive club. You get to sit in the velveteen chair, and for some people, there's a very intoxicating proposal, because especially if you come from an ignored or marginalized part of the world, and now somebody's treating you like this rare and precious thing. Now the fine print of that is like, it's better to be, and this is a quote from an article about Josephine Baker that I read, it is better to be treated like a rare and precious thing as opposed to a horrible, ugly one. But it's still to be treated like a thing. There's no real human temperature in that. It's, oh, you were so exotic, but you're a caricature. You're a beautiful caricature, but you're not a human.
Commodified.
Yeah, you're not a human being. And it's just that kind of, hip-hop will find its center again. At the moment, a lot of its biggest names and most charismatic personalities are dizzy and disoriented off of success and what they perceive to be mainstream approval and acceptance. Which, the irony is that the culture came into prominence without any of that.
Yeah.
Almost
Came anti that.
rejecting that. Like, we don't care what you think, it doesn't matter.
To push it again to the side, you know, where the leader's going to come from, you know.
Well, there are lots of leaders, there are lots of artists who are doing those sorts of things. But when they submit themselves to certain forms of machinery, as television or radio, then it's a perfect opportunity for you to be suppressed. And what happened, I think, is that we started to accept mainstream notions of success. Being on a top Billboard artist was not even in anyone's field of vision. It was just about being able to make music that was relevant to to your center. Then your center started being relevant to the center, the mainstream center. And as a result, people started modifying themselves and, changing appearances to appeal to the old center sensibility.
Yeah.
And now, if you weren't on the top 10 in Billboard, and this came from inside the culture, we adopted this.
Yeah.
If you weren't that type of artist, you weren't relevant. If you couldn't have that sort of mainstream appeal, you didn't matter. And it almost had to be that you were lobbying or campaigning for the widest audience possible, which is harmful because it turns it into like a tournament type of atmosphere where you're competing against not only your own contemporaries but other genres, and it's got to be
splits up.
it's like a very gladiator type of atmosphere,
What happens to the message in there? I mean, this is the whole thing. If it's getting split up that much, to maintain a pretty solid message must be near impossible.
Well, if people, it's really simple. The radio stations won't play certain records, and they only play roughly 35 to 40 records in any given rotation anyway.
Can I have one?
Yeah, sure. So,
This is the first time I was filming the camera. I apologize to my nan.
sorry, man.
I like it, actually.
So they only play a certain amount of records, and they say they don't play certain records because, well, that's not what people want to hear.
Yeah.
This says who? Says the program director, who usually works for some large broadcast corporation.
If you take that apart enough, if you've got media owned by like 4 companies, all of the media in this country, if it's owned by like, maybe 4 major companies, then how do you get the message out there if there's...
You just have to do it. And you have to just go directly to the people. I mean, you can't depend on MTV or Hot 97. I mean, I've attempted to. I've attempted to do that. And I've had really good records, man. I've been nominated for Grammys and for gold records. And I've had program directors even tell me, "Post, I like you. I love your music, but I can't. It doesn't fit into our format." The format is predetermined.
Yeah.
And it's pretty predictable. Everybody makes it like it's not that premeditated. You're being conspiracy theorist. And it's like, if it's not that premeditated, why is it so predictable?
Yeah.
If it's not premeditated, how come it's so reliably uniform?
So homogenized.
It's sex, violence,
Low
love
vibration.
songs, glamour, dance. That's it.
Stuff.
There's no real information on these stations. So as a result, there's no real information in the music, and that's not what they're about. It's not what their programming mandate is about. Their programming mandate is about surface pop culture, and that's really problematic for us as a community, because the only culture that we have in this country is the ones that we create. Now the people who create culture have been bribed and co-opted, sometimes consciously and even worse, unconsciously, by these huge corporations to say the only way that we'll take your message to the mass is if you represent what we are comfortable with.
Yeah.
Seeing your community or seeing your demographic, which is a really kind of sterile terminology for people and a community. It's like, well, your demographic, we're comfortable with you representing this to them. We like it when we're comfortable with that imagery. And anything outside of that, we don't we're hesitant on.
So do you already have to have media? I mean, the problem is that, you know, when you've got someone like Mumia who's, you know, now is, you know, you kind of have to be looking for him to find him. You kind of have to be, you know, I mean, he's there, he's accessible on the web, you know, his commentaries are there every week, but you know, if you're not looking for him, he's very hard to find. So does that make it a problem in terms of, do you already have to have media exposure to be able to make that message, or do you just got to keep plugging away?
Well, I mean, those are type of scientific types of questions. Do I think that? I think the certain messages,
because it's just you know, I found Mumia through, you know, I mean, from my mom, you know,
Right.
she's political, you know, so, you know, I've sort of been raised in that, but if I hadn't been, I don't know if I ever would have known about it. Do you know what I mean?
I think that there's a bit of advice that a writing professor and the great novelist Victor Laval gave me. I asked him what he tells his students, and he told me that he tells the students to write as if they're the only ones that will understand.
Right. I like that.
And in doing that, they will become universal. And I think that applies to people like Mumia, or people who have a real message, who may not, who for whatever reason have been stymied by the mass media or rejected or persecuted, is that somehow, in a way that we may not even be able to measure, this far less empirical than we could imagine.
Yeah.
The message just gets out just on the virtue of what it has to say.
True, yeah, very true.
And some people might view that as idealistic, but I sincerely believe that, and there's so many examples of that. I find that actually people who are less concerned with that end up getting it. You know, you get guys like Dylan or Bob Marley. Those weren't that wasn't the aim. The aim was to make their most honest work.
Yeah. And
because they did it, it just gets airborne, and there's something else. That's the thing about information, is that it's really, the truth is a form of magic. And it finds its way to people. Without a machine, without approval from the gatekeeper. How did that happen? It just did.
Yeah.
It just did.